why living in Utah is still great compared to other states. That is what I'm talking about today. So I have been traveling for the last month or so to various states, and I want to share with you today things that I was reminded of about living in Utah versus other states and why it's still a great place to live. So stay tuned. So things are expensive everywhere you live. And there's a lot of people talking in Utah about how it's just so expensive to live here and the affordability and everything else. And like I mentioned in the intro, I've actually been traveling around to 3 different states, some on East Coast, some on West Coast, and I'm going to share that with you. But it reminded me visiting these places in the end of November through middle of December, why I still love living in Utah and why it's still a great place to live. The 3 states that I'm talking about, or cities I should say, was Philly, Phoenix, and San Diego. So now you have an idea of the 3 states that I'm going to be comparing to today for this video: Pennsylvania, California, and Arizona. Now, the number one thing about living in Utah versus these other states that I was reminded of is the beauty that Utah has. We have such a variety of different areas, different things to see. You know, you go to southern Utah and you see all the beautiful national parks and the red rock and all of that desert-like atmosphere that you would expect in a desert like Phoenix. But then you come to Salt Lake and you have the mountains and the snow, and it's just such a variety of things. Now, don't get me wrong, being back in San Diego where I was raised, it made me miss the beach and the ocean. I love that. But overall, just so much more to offer here in Utah as far as the diversity of the landscape. Number 2, and this goes for November and December. Food and gas is a lot cheaper in Utah than those other 3 states where I visited. I was kind of blown away that, you know, right now we're under $3 a gallon for gas. And when I was in Phoenix a few days ago, you were over $3 a gallon there. Same thing when I was in Philly, you know, the gas prices were still substantially higher than what we were paying at the time here in Utah. And then just don't even get me started about San Diego. That was crazy different pricing. And for food, it didn't matter if you were eating out or I went to the grocery store in Philly and things were still significantly more expensive. Now, when I say I was in Philly, I was really about 30 minutes outside of downtown Philly. So it wasn't like comparing downtown Philly to a suburb of Salt Lake. Number 3, this shocked me. When I went to Phoenix, there were signs all over the freeway saying no burning because of air pollution. That's right. Just like here in Salt Lake, they have inversion issues in Phoenix. And so they did still have restrictions because of the air quality. Now, I tried to get video of it and it wasn't great video, but you can kind of see off in the distance that smog-like inversion like we experience here in Utah. Now, going to a coastal area, you don't tend to see that as much in California, but they do still have smog depending on the time of the year. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and click that bell. That way you're alerted each week when I drop a new video. Number 4, traffic. Oh my gosh. I literally was thinking traffic was getting so bad here in Salt Lake City, but you go to those other cities and it is way worse there. You know, like for instance, in Philly, again, I was about 30 minutes outside of Philly. It was taking like 45 minutes to go places that were maybe 15 miles away. The roads were horrible. You know, you're going 55 on an expressway down to 35 and all the crossover, and it was insanity. And it was just, traffic was horrific. San Diego, same thing. Horrible traffic, didn't matter what time of the day. You know, it just, again, reminded me, I often say when I moved to Salt Lake City 21 years ago, the traffic here now is what I experienced living in San Diego 21 years ago. Number 5, crime and theft. Now, this one is kind of a touchy subject. So everywhere has crime and theft. You have to do your research on the area you're considering moving when you come to Salt Lake, because every area is going to be different. But it was really eye-opening to get outside of that Utah bubble, which is a good thing in this situation, to be in a Utah bubble with the crime and the theft. And that didn't matter if I was in Philly, if I was in Phoenix, or if I was in San Diego. Just talking to the people that live there locally and hearing more about the crime and the theft was shocking, and the sophistication of thieves that I heard about here in Phoenix. So again, you just need to do your research. Everywhere has good and bad, but be aware of quite a difference between Salt Lake City and those other 3 states, or those 3 areas. I hope you found the video useful and learned some information for comparison purposes if you're looking at moving to Utah. If you have any real estate related questions, I'd love to connect with you. You can shoot me a text, send me an email, do what you got to do, but get in touch with me. I am always here to help, but as always, make it a great day.